Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Proxmox VE.
Oh, yeah.
It's this really cool open source platform that handles like both virtual machines and containers. And we're basing all this on the book, Learning Proxmox VE.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome. I've been like blown away by all the stuff you can do with this.
Yeah.
Um,
Proxmox VE is amazing. What I love about it is that it's like a single place to manage everything you need on a server.
Right.
It gives you the choice to use virtual machines, which are like separate computers, or containers, which are more lightweight and share resources.
So you got options.
Yeah, it's about having choices and using the best tool for the job.
I see.
Kind of like choosing the right screwdriver or a hammer,
Yeah.
depending on what you're building.
So what are like the real benefits of using it?
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
The book mentions saving money on hardware,
Okay.
easier management, and faster testing.
Okay.
That's great for companies and developers, right? Like imagine a company that needs to run a web server, a database,
Okay.
a firewall, and a system to manage their logs. Normally, they'd need a separate server for each of those, which is expensive and complicated.
Right.
But with Proxmox VE,
Yeah.
they can run all of that on a single machine.
Wow.
It streamlines everything and saves them a lot of money.
So you're getting the most out of your hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
It's about squeezing all the potential from what you have.
Okay, so let's talk about containers.
Okay.
The book really focuses on these things called LXC containers. Can you explain what those are?
Absolutely. So LXC stands for Linux containers.
Okay.
It's a way to run applications with just what they need.
Okay.
Instead of setting up a whole operating system for each app, you give each one its own little space within a shared system.
Oh, I see.
Like, think of it like this. It's like instead of having a separate apartment for each person, you give each person their own room in a shared apartment.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So it's about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
The book talks about how they use less resources, they start up really quickly, and have good isolation between apps.
Exactly.
Plus, you can even change their settings without messing anything else up.
It's like having these mini self-contained environments.
That's really cool.
It is.
But what about security?
Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
While containers offer isolation, they still share the host's kernel.
Okay.
So a vulnerability in the kernel
Right.
could affect all the containers running on it.
Oh, so it's kind of like...
It's like living in a building with secure apartments, but a shared entryway.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off there.
Exactly.
Okay. So everyone's talking about containers these days, but are virtual machines still important?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Virtual machines have a level of flexibility that containers, at least for now, don't have.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, imagine you want to run both Windows and Linux on the same server.
That's possible with virtual machines
Oh,
because they have their own completely separate operating systems.
I see.
Plus, that separate OS gives stronger isolation.
Okay.
Think of it like having your own house.
Right.
Instead of just a room in an apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So VMs are more powerful and containers are more lightweight.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
It's about using the right tool for the job.
All right, so we've got the big picture now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about actually setting up a virtual machine.
All right.
One of the big decisions is choosing the right virtual disk format.
Yes, definitely.
It's like choosing the foundation for a house.
Exactly. It's really important.
Yeah.
Proxmox VE gives you a few options.
Yeah.
QCOW2, RAW, and VMDK.
Okay.
Knowing the difference between these is key.
So let's break those down.
Sure.
RAW is like a direct copy of a hard drive.
Yeah.
It's the fastest option, right?
It is.
Perfect for things like databases, but it doesn't have all the fancy features.
That's right.
Okay, so what about QCOW2? Well, QCOW2 lets you do things like snapshots, which are like taking a picture of your virtual disk at a certain time.
So you can go back to that if something goes wrong.
Exactly.
That's useful.
It is.
Yeah.
You can also resize a QCOW2 disk on the fly.
Right.
Without having to pre-allocate all the space.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's great for saving storage space.
And what was the last one? VMDK.
Oh, yeah, VMDK.
What's that all about?
That one's commonly used with VMware. So if you're coming from a VMware setup, it can make things easier.
Right.
Like speaking the same language.
Gotcha. So the best choice really depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So lots of options with disks.
There are.
Let's talk about networking next.
Okay.
It seems like Proxmox VE is really flexible there too.
Yeah, it is. It offers 3 main modes.
Okay.
Bridged, NAT, and routed.
Oh, so what are those like?
Think of them as how your virtual machine will talk to the outside world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So bridged mode.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty straightforward, like plugging your virtual machine straight into your network.
It is.
Uh,
It gives your VM its own IP address,
right.
so it becomes a full member of your network.
So what about NAT mode?
NAT mode is like putting your virtual machine behind a router. It keeps it hidden from the outside world,
Right.
and it shares your host's IP address.
Okay, and routed mode.
That one's more for when Proxmox VE is hosted in the cloud.
Okay.
It's about routing traffic between networks.
Okay, that sounds complicated.
Maybe a bit, yeah.
Right, well, this is really showing how powerful Proxmox VE is.
It is. It's very versatile.
But with power comes responsibility,
Oh, yeah.
especially when it comes to security.
Absolutely.
What are some things to keep in mind?
Well, first,
Yeah.
make sure Proxmox VE
Mm-hmm.
and all your guest operating systems
Right.
are up to date with the latest security patches.
It's like keeping your software updated.
Exactly. It's like having a strong lock on your door.
Gotcha. And what about like minimizing vulnerabilities?
Oh, yeah. Disable any virtual devices or services that you're not using.
Okay.
If you don't need it, get rid of it.
Okay, less is more.
Right.
Are there any other tools for securing Proxmox VE?
Oh, yeah, a bunch.
Like what?
Well, the book mentions securing the bootloader,
Go.
using a tool called fail2ban to stop brute force attacks, and using SSH keys instead of passwords,
Oh, okay, yeah.
like adding extra layers of protection.
Makes sense.
It does, right?
Yeah, and if you need even more security, there's always the enterprise support option.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Come on,
point.
gives you extra updates and professional help.
Yeah, it's like having a security team on call.
Cool. Okay, so we've covered a lot here.
We have.
From the basics of virtual machines and containers to networking and security.
Yeah, Proxmox VE is really powerful.
Yeah. I'm impressed. What stands out to you the most?
I think the flexibility is just amazing.
Yeah.
You can choose the best way to do things, whether it's virtual machines or containers.
Right.
And with all the security features, you can build a really secure environment.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that too.
Yeah.
And it's open source, which is awesome.
It is. It means you can see the code, change it if you need to, and contribute to the community.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It makes me want to use Proxmox VE for my own stuff.
That's great. If you want to learn more, learning Proxmox VE is an excellent resource.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, check out the turnkey GNU Linux appliance library.
Okay.
It's like a collection of pre-made solutions for all sorts of things.
Awesome.
Definitely worth a look.
This has been really cool learning about all this.
Yeah, me too.
It's amazing how this technology is changing the way we manage servers.
Totally agree. It's all about making things more efficient,
Right.
more flexible, and more secure.
Yeah. Proxmox VE is leading the way.
I think so too. And if anyone's interested in learning more about Proxmox VE, I'd recommend checking out the book Learning Proxmox VE.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
It explains everything so clearly.
Right. It's easy to understand.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a virtualization expert. The author, Rick Goldman, does a fantastic job explaining things simply.
I agree.
Like you're talking to a friend who knows a lot about tech.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been in the IT industry for over 18 years.
Wow.
And he's really passionate about open source.
That definitely comes through in the book.
It does.
It makes it feel authentic.
Yeah, you can tell he's excited about making technology easy for everyone to understand.
I like that.
Yeah, and the book has lots of practical advice and examples.
Yeah.
It's not just theory. It's stuff you can actually do.
Yeah. I like that it's not just a textbook.
It's a guide,
Yeah.
like a roadmap.
Exactly. For setting up and managing your own virtual environment.
And it doesn't shy away from the challenges.
Right.
It talks about security, performance, troubleshooting, all of it.
It's like having a safety net.
Exactly.
So you don't have to figure everything out on your own.
Speaking of security,
Yeah.
the book does a great job with that.
Yeah, a whole chapter on it.
It really focuses on a layered approach to security.
Okay.
It covers everything.
Right.
Securing the bootloader, the BIOS or UEFI high,
Okay.
disabling unnecessary services.
Right.
Setting up firewalls, it's thorough.
It's like building a fortress around your Proxmox VE setup.
Brick by brick.
But it's not just about the technical stuff.
No.
It's about best practices, too.
Right.
Like strong passwords.
Yes.
And keeping your systems up to date.
It's about creating a culture of security.
Okay. I see.
And if you get stuck,
Yeah.
the book has links to more resources and documentation.
That's really helpful.
It is.
I was really impressed by the section on virtual disk formats.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. It makes those choices so much clearer.
Right. QCOW2, RAW, VMDK.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
It is, because it affects performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like choosing the right tires for your car.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put off-road tires on a sports car.
Right.
The book explains how each format works,
Mm-hmm.
so you can understand why you might choose one over another.
And it emphasizes that there's no one perfect solution.
Right.
It depends on what you need.
It does.
It's like having a virtual disk expert right there with you,
Exactly.
guiding you through the process.
It covers some advanced stuff, too.
Oh, like what?
Configuring disk interfaces,
Okay.
cache options,
Uh-huh.
working with virtual disks from other platforms.
Like VMware.
Yeah. It's really comprehensive.
Wow. I was also fascinated by the part about pair virtualization.
Oh.
It's like a performance boost for your virtual machines.
It is. The book explains how to use it for both disks and network interfaces.
So you're getting the most out of your Proxmox VE environment,
Yeah. It's about fine-tuning everything for maximum speed and efficiency.
like a race car.
Exactly. And speaking of optimization, the book does a great job explaining networking in Proxmox VE. It covers bridged,
Right.
NAT, and routed modes.
And it helps you choose the right one.
Yes, it's like having a network engineer right there with you,
Yeah.
helping you design the best network.
And it doesn't just tell you what to do.
No.
It explains why.
Exactly.
I like that.
And it covers the security implications of each mode.
Right, because you have to think about security too.
Yeah, it's about making informed choices.
Okay.
Balance functionality with security.
That chapter on security is really impressive.
It is.
It goes really deep into protecting your Proxmox VE environment.
It does. It covers securing the bootloader,
Mm-hmm.
the BIOS-UEFI,
Okay.
disabling unnecessary services, configuring firewalls, all of it.
It's like a checklist.
Yes, a security checklist.
And it emphasizes best practices too.
Like using strong passwords
Right.
and keeping your systems updated.
It's about being proactive.
Yeah, creating a culture of security.
I like that it talked about the risks specific to virtualization.
Oh yeah, like VM escape vulnerability.
Right, and virtualization sprawl.
It's good to be aware of those things.
Yeah.
So you can prevent them.
Exactly, and it gives advice on how to mitigate those risks.
It does, like using fail2ban to stop brute force attacks
Okay.
and using SSH keys instead of passwords.
It's about staying ahead of the curve
Yeah.
when it comes to security.
Right. And if you need extra help,
Yeah,
the book suggests an enterprise support subscription.
for more updates and support.
It's like having a security team on call.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This book really covers everything,
It does. It's really impressive.
from technical details to security.
It's a complete guide to understanding and using Proxmox VE.
What did you like the most about how the book explains Proxmox VE?
I think it makes it accessible and engaging.
Yeah,
It's not just a boring technical manual.
Right.
It's actually enjoyable to read.
like having a friend explain everything.
Exactly. And the author's passion for open source is contagious.
Yeah, it makes you want to get involved.
It does. It's inspiring.
So if you're thinking about trying Proxmox VE,
Yeah,
this book is a must-have.
definitely.
It's a great starting point for learning about this amazing technology.
Absolutely.
Proxmox VE really lets you create your own virtual world.
Yeah, it's like a digital sandbox.
That's a cool way to put it. And the book really encourages you to explore and try new things.
Definitely, it goes beyond the basics and gets into some more advanced stuff,
Like what?
like NIC bonding, VLAN support,
Okay.
even setting up a high availability cluster.
A high availability cluster. What's that?
Basically, it makes sure your applications and services stay online, even if a server fails.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a backup server ready to go,
Okay.
so you have minimal downtime.
That's huge for businesses that rely on their servers.
It is. It's about peace of mind.
Yeah.
And the book shows you how to set up a cluster.
Cool. So this book covers pretty much everything then.
Yeah, it does, from the easy stuff to the really advanced stuff.
It's not all just technical?
No, it also talks about the history of virtualization.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the open source movement. The community that made Proxmox VE what it is today.
It's like you're getting a peek behind the curtain.
Right. You get to see how it all evolved.
I like that.
And it encourages you to become part of the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really inspired after reading this book.
Me too.
It's amazing what you can do with Proxmox VE.
It really is.
It's changing how we think about IT resources.
I totally agree.
It's empowering
Yeah.
to be able to build your own virtual environment.
Exactly. For anything you need, whether it's personal or for a business.
In this book, learning Proxmox VE is the perfect guide.
I think so too.
It's well written, easy to understand,
Mm-hmm.
and full of practical advice.
It's a great place to start if you want to learn about virtualization.
This has been a great look at Proxmox VE.
Yeah, I agree.
It's clear that virtualization is a game changer,
It is.
and anyone can use it with the right knowledge and tools.
If you're looking to make your IT better, more efficient, and more secure, give Proxmox VE a try.
And definitely check out Learning Proxmox VE.
It's a great resource.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.